Please clear the street.
Shut the f*** up!
Shut the f*** up! On the sidewalk.
Get the police!
These officers. If you remain
Death to the police. Guys, this is insane. So, University of Washington was set on fire while pro-Hamas students chanted death to the police. What? And this is in Seattle. But how is this happening in America? I actually think that, like, for this kind of stuff, I think it's really important that they are just, like, hyper aggressive about this and they just totally shut it down. Like, I mean, you can't, I mean, this is third world country stuff. Like, you're making blockades of random things and setting them on fire. Really, this is third world country behavior. There's no reason to deal with this at all. There's no reason to put up with this even for a second. It's a violent act? Yeah, it is. Indoctrination from terrorists? It sucks that some of those beautiful places in the country, West Coast, have been turned into terrible places to live with their laws and crimes. I would have loved to live in Seattle or Portland, but they're just trash places because of the people and the governments. I think that the reason why they're such trash places is because they're high-income areas. And a lot of high-income areas and high-income people never have to deal with the consequences of any sort of, you know, like, kind of suicidal empathy that they have. So these people live in, like, gated communities, and they're separate from the rest of the population. And because there's so many of them, though, they're able to make a tangible effect on voting. So their luxury beliefs get turned into laws, and now the population has to pay the price for it. And I think that's the reason why you have a lot of these, like, really rich cities that have these really bad laws. Because, like, have you guys noticed that it seems like all of the cities that have, like, really, really high, like, standard of living, or not standard of living, like, cost of living, are the cities that have the dumbest laws? I think the reason why is because those people have the ability to just simply pay to avoid this problem entirely. And so they can afford to vote in a way that makes them feel good because they don't have to deal with the consequences of, again, those luxury beliefs. Sanctuary cities? Well, look at, I mean, New York is the same thing, right? Also the largest wealth gaps? Yeah, and that's the reason why you have this happen. I think it is. I could be wrong. Antifa protesters occupied the brand new engineering building to protest Israel. They lit dumpster fires, created blockades, and chanted death to the police. See, like, I just don't see how this happens. Like, in my opinion, like, I'm very much of the mindset that, like, I have no problem with people that are protesting and, like, it, you know, they're just protesting. But, like, if you're obstructing people's movement in a public place, you are, in my opinion, I think, committing an act of violence. And I think the police should just arrest all of them. And I think that, like, I mean, what they could do, like, if I was the police, this is what I would do. I would probably do a eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and every fifth person gets charged, like, with an insane thing. Just make it completely random and totally, like, you know, just indiscriminate. And do that a few times, and then people stop doing it. It's pretty simple. Why not all of them? It'd just be too much paperwork and too much effort. That's really the reason. You're also damaging public property? Yeah, no, for sure. For a protest? This isn't a protest. Like, when you're lighting things on fire and you're obstructing people's movement, like, this isn't protesting. Yeah, this is terrorism. Like, I like, it doesn't matter. The judges would let them go. Just put them up in federal charges so it doesn't matter. Here's a copy of pro-Hamas chant this evening. Down with the Iron Dome. Oh, man. I feel like some of these blood money in your bank account, a child's life was worth no amount. Oh, boy. Yeah, their LARPing looks fake. Yeah, it could be fake. You're right about that. Kind of engaging in negotiations with protesters. UW sent in dozens of cops in riot gear to brutalize students. Huge fucking W. Massive fucking W. Exactly how you should handle it. There is no, you should not give even the slightest amount of leniency or, you know, like, weakness into this at all. Just immediately brutalize them, immediately arrest them, immediately get them, shut it down instantaneously. Do that a few times and it stops after. Move. Take it down. Yeah, they're adults. Yeah, you do not negotiate with terrorists. They were in fact defeated. But, you know. Yeah, they got arrested and they brought in a bunch of other people and that was about it. But, like, yeah. Why are these demonstrations only in the USA? In Poland, we have close to 2 million immigrants from Ukraine to war, and not a single dumb shit like this is happening here. The reason why it's happening a lot in the US, so one of the big reasons why is because the US funds Israel in a way that a lot of other countries don't. And so that's the reason why you have a lot of protests in America, is because people feel like they're more connected to the problem. That's the reason, right? I mean, wrong, there's a lot in EU too. I mean, US law allows it. Yeah, and there's also the US law that allows it. What is this?
Breaking news coming out of Seattle, where dozens of demonstrators against the war in Gaza took over a building at the University of Washington last night. They also blocked streets and set fire to dumpsters. Now, this is the most visible protest of its kind so far this spring, following dozens of protests on campuses a year ago. Police arrested more than 24 people.
Not
Among
enough.
other things, demonstrators demanded the school break its ties to the Boeing Corporation because of its military contracts. Breaking news coming out.
Yep. And so so far this spring, no, it's easy to solve this problem. Very, very easy.
Left, you're all the same. SPD, KKK, IOF, you're all the same.
The Seattle Police Department is like the KKK. I guarantee you it's a bunch of white people chanting this. Like, absolutely 100% chance.
Left, you're all the same. SPD, KKK, IOF, you're all the same. SPD,
The usual
KKK,
suspect, yeah.
IOF, you're all the same. SPD, KKK, IOF, you're all the same.
Jesus Christ. Okay, let's see if there's any more of them. UW would rather set riot cops on their own students than negotiate peacefully. These people don't want a negotiation. This isn't even what they're looking for. They're looking for, they're trying to bully them into doing something. And also, like, the entire premise of a negotiation, like, the university isn't accountable to these people. Like for example, a private company is not accountable to random citizens. So a private company can act in the way that it wants, and random citizens cannot demand accountability directly from that company. Now, they can lobby the government to demand accountability. Of course they can. But to demand it directly themselves, they can't. Yeah, idiot troll comment? Yeah. Well, yeah, they send in cops with riot gear to deal with rioters. What's odd about that? Yeah, I know. Isn't that a shock? But, yeah, well, there we go. And, wow. God damn. Law enforcement officers have breached the mechanical engineering building. What a surprise. I'm so glad this kind of stuff isn't as popular as it used to be. And now it's just that the government, because, like, you've got to keep in mind, this is in Seattle. And so, like, if they're being this aggressive with it, the probability that any of these protests go anywhere for, like, the indefinite future is basically zero. Like, isn't Seattle where Chaz was whenever they created that, like, you know, that place where, like, the police weren't allowed to go in during COVID? I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah, it was. And so, like, this is, like, ground zero for retardation. So if even here you have common sense, yeah, this is cooked. I think people in general have just been completely fed up with this. Need a timeout? Yeah. You got a Karen crashing out in the background. Yep, turning the lights on. There you go. These people have gone too far? Oh yeah, they definitely have. I think that protesting and, like, you know, being okay, you know, or, like, trying to, like, you know, raise advocacy is okay. But, like, whenever you're lighting things on fire, like, what are you doing? How is this called a protest? It's obviously not. It's a riot. It is. Like, again, like, you're literally lighting shit on fire and destroying property. Yep, there we go. See, what they need to do, though, like, I think this is great, but what I think that they need to do a lot more of is they really need to start arresting these people. They need to start arresting them and, like, really charging them with things that are, like, very extreme in order to make other people stop doing it. And deport them? Well, yeah, I mean, no, by the way, if any of these people are not citizens, I think they should be immediately deported instantaneously. If you are participating in riots and things where you're lighting things on fire, we already have enough crackheads in our country to begin with. We don't need to import new crackheads. Would never happen. Never say never. Charge them with terrorism, simple as that? Sure. Yeah, I'm really happy to see this. This is great. Yeah, they're just totally shutting it down. No bullshit, etc. If you're not a citizen, it's not your fucking business anyway. Yeah.
Please clear the street.
Shut the f*** up!
Shut the f*** up! Protest on the sidewalk. Do not interfere with these officers. If you remain
Death to the police. This is some fucking, like, you know, some, like, random 19-year-old white kid, like, spamming this. Like, what are you doing? Like,
on the sidewalk. Do not interfere with these officers.
God, I wish you could see these people.
You can be subject to arrest.
Oh, you can. Yep. This is the guy that's saying death to the police. It's always really funny to me whenever I see people, especially like women and like smaller guys like this, that are always like death to the police. The only reason why you're alive is because of the police. If it wasn't for the police, you'd be dead. Because somebody bigger than you and stronger than you would come and kill you. And that's what happens everywhere else in the world where there's no police. That's it. Like, yeah, you'd be naturally selected. It's just very, it's very funny for me to see them say this.
Subject to arrest. Again, you can peacefully protest on the west sidewalk. Do not interfere with these officers. Do not get in their way.
Abolish the police!
I guarantee you, by the way, if somebody started beating this guy up, he'd be immediately calling for the police. Instantaneously, he'd be crying, calling for the police, trying to get them to make them stop.
Every cop dead is a victory for the resistance!
Sometimes it makes me think that Israel pays these people because they're just so pathetic and annoying that it almost makes you, like, it makes you against Palestine whenever you see, like, some random, like, 100-pound, like, you know, 5'6" white kid with a beanie on and a mask talking about death to the police. It's just embarrassing. It's completely fucking embarrassing that this is happening. And yeah, his voice is cracking. It's pathetic. And like, how is it that, like, you don't realize this?
Every IOF soldier killed is a victory against colonialism.
Oh, man. He's having a crash out? Yeah, I know. Oh, trying to take a moral high ground? It's embarrassing no matter who says it. Yeah. Like, you want to listen to that one again? Boy, he's talking about, like, killing soldiers and, like, having a war. Bro, like, it's just... Of all the people that shouldn't want a war, he should be number one.
Every cop dead is a victory for the resistance.
Yeah, you're literally a product of colonialism yourself. And this is the thing, is that whenever people like this get confronted with that reality, where, like, if you actually think that you're a product of colonialism and America's colonialist, well, what are you going to do about it? Well, you're not going to do anything about it. You're just going to virtue signal about how other people are bad because of it. Because these people never actually want to, you know, they're not going to relinquish their lands to Native American tribes. They're not going to, you know, donate money to them. They're not going to go back to, like, whatever country their European family probably immigrated from. They're just going to sit here and complain and talk about it.
Soldier killed is a victory against colonialism. Get a real job, dipshit.
Oh my god. Oh, I love this.
Every IOF soldier killed is a victory against colonialism. Get a real job, dipshit.
Oh man. Fucking dumbasses. Yeah, that's so fucking funny to me. Oh god. Oh boy, oh boy. Yep, well, things are not going well for them. 30 were arrested after left-wing extremists took over a building. 30 of them got arrested. Yep, there you go. Well, there's at least $1 million of damage done. Well, pretty simple. Find out who did it and fine them for that amount of money. It's pretty, yeah, we need more convictions. Oh yeah, no, in my opinion, like, this is the way that Democrats have taken over a building. Boeing's a huge piece of the state of Washington's economy. Yeah. I don't know how... Like, I don't know how anybody puts up with this for even a second. I don't. It's pathetic. I know, it is pathetic. Honestly, I think the police should just come in and immediately arrest these people, post their identities, expel them from the school, convict them of some form of bullshit, and then put them in jail. Like, that would be it, right? Like, I mean, if it was up to me, that's what would happen. And if you did that, why? Because I think that they're destructive and violent. I'd be okay if they were just as a deterrent, right? Exactly. There should be a deterrent for this. I think this is the same one that we saw before, but I think this might just be it. Freedom to protest, though. You're not so whenever people, if you want to talk about the freedom to protest, you have to also talk about, like, the freedom of people to be able to of movement, right? So, like, whenever you take a person and you make it to where, like, a person can't go somewhere in a public space, you are now taking away their freedom. And so, also, like, and by the way, like, you have people that are, like, setting things on fire, like, protesting, like, the moment that Like, fire is not a form of protesting. So anytime I see a fire and there's a protest, that's not a protest, that's a riot. That's it. And so, yeah, that's arson, exactly. And fire is scary, and if you don't need to cover your face to protest. Well, I don't have a problem with people covering their face, right? That's not really a big deal to me. But, yeah, unless it's tiki torches. Well, I mean, I think, like, if it's something small, right, it's like a lamp or something, it's not a big deal. But I'm clearly talking about, like, lighting big things on fire. Like, I know you're trying to make, like, some, like, fucking reference to that Charlestown thing or whatever the fuck it was. But that's very clearly, like, I mean, are you implying that I'm, like, a supporter of, like, some white supremacist group? What a ridiculous and stupid thing to say. It has nothing to do with what we're discussing. It's not related. I've never expressed any support to that at all. It's just total bullshit. And so anyway, I mean, don't be don't be confused. I know exactly what you're doing, right?